have it both ways. My lead source tonight was the chief economist for the World Bank, Treasury Secretary under President Clinton, and the director of the National Economic Council under President Obama. In other words, he knows a thing or two about a thing or two. Larry Summers joining us now. And Secretary Summers, given how much we all buy online and how much of that comes from China, what would a 104% tariff on China mean for most Americans?
Nothing good. Before this additional tariff, the Yale Budget Lab was estimating that all of this was going to cost $3,800 for the average family. Senator Ted Cruz, hardly a opponent of the president, estimated that car prices would go up by $4,500, and their estimates suggesting that clothing and apparel prices will go up by 17%. So this is pretty clearly a massive middle-class tax increase, and that middle-class tax increase is only going to be increased if the president adds more to tariffs on China. And frankly, it doesn't really matter that much what he gets in result in some negotiation. These tariffs are a self-inflicted wound to the American economy. Another way to put it is add it all up, and it'd be the equivalent of doubling the price of oil, adding $3 or $4 a gallon to the price of gasoline.
You have the co-founder of Home Depot, Ken Langone, he's a longtime Republican donor, telling the Financial Times that the U.S. president was being poorly advised, that the 46% tariff on Vietnam was BS. He did not abbreviate, to be clear there. You're hearing CEOs who, a lot of them have held their fire on Trump's economic plans, but they're starting to come out publicly. Do you think that that's going to make a difference?
I can do many things in terms of economics, but forecasting the psychology of this president and what kind of impulse is going to come next is not something that I would pretend to be able to judge. What I would be able to judge is that the sooner we reverse ourselves on Liberation Day, the healthier our economy will be. I think there's still a prospect of avoiding a recession, but every day we don't reverse ourselves, the chance of recession goes up. The amount of inflation we're going to have over the next several months goes up. The prospects for employment go down. So I hope all these various voices are being heard by the president. He's made an epic error with the Liberation Day announcement. $5 trillion lost to the stock market is only the beginning, because the stock market doesn't count all the losses to workers, all the losses to consumers.
So you put the odds of a recession at about 50-50 last month. Where are you putting those odds today?
More like 2 and 3 right now. Anything could happen, and economic forecasting is not an exact science, but surely with these higher tariffs taking more money out of people's pockets, surely with the losses we've seen in the stock market, you have to say that the odds of recession have gone up. It's a kind of extraordinary thing that the president has put in place a set of policies that caused the Fed to both think there was going to be more unemployment and more inflation.
Even if Trump cuts a deal tomorrow with every country, because we have to be clear, these so-called reciprocal tariffs are scheduled to go into effect on Wednesday, how much damage would already be done as you're looking at it?
Look, I think there's damage unless all of it is reversed, which I don't think is very likely on the basis of what we've seen. But even if all that is true, once you've yelled fire in a crowded theater once, everybody's going to be more nervous in that theater with you in the future. And so I think everybody's going to be approaching the United States with a leeriness that they didn't have before. And that's got to be bad for any American business trying to sell abroad. That's got to be bad for anybody trying to enter into a long-term contract with Americans. That's got to be bad for the Treasury's ability to sell debt. We've made ourselves a less reliable partner as a nation, and that's a costly thing to do. You know, Brianna, credibility is something that takes a long time to build, but only a very little time to lose. And that's the tragedy in what's been done. Gosh, we do need to be firm with other countries. We need to protect our borders. We need to expect them to do more to meet the military burden of defending the world. We need to expect them to open their markets. But this kind of approach where you have reciprocal tariffs and you don't even look at any tariff data in setting the U.S. Tariff, this is the wrong way forward.
Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers with some sober words there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And our White House insiders are here with us now. And so, Jennifer,